All right, let's talk about a seismic shift in cybersecurity. We're talking about a shockwave that is completely rewriting the rules for how we protect our entire digital world. And you know what? This isn't some distant future we're speculating about. It's an AI arms race that's happening right now. So, what's really going on here? Let's dive in.
So, picture this. It's early 2026. You're a trader on Wall Street, you look up at the board, and you just see red. Everywhere. CrowdStrike, Okta, Cloudflare. I mean, the absolute titans of cybersecurity are in a complete freefall. Some of these stocks just plunged by as much as 24% in a single day. That's the kind of chaos we're talking about.
And what kicked all this off? It wasn't a massive data breach. It wasn't some government crackdown. Nope. It was a single press release from the AI company Anthropic. So that's the big question, right? How on earth did one little announcement manage to cause a $21 billion meltdown on Wall Street? That's exactly what we're going to unpack.
To really get our heads around this, we're going to go on a little journey. First, we'll look at the shockwave itself. Then, we'll rewind a bit to see why the old way of securing code was just so fundamentally broken. After that, we'll meet the two AI giants who are changing the whole game, pit them head-to-head, see how the smartest teams are actually using both, and then finally, we'll ask the big question. What does all this mean for the humans in the loop?
Okay, so the event that really lit the fuse was Anthropic's announcement of something called Claude Code Security. And, this sent a crystal clear message to investors. A whole new breed of AI was coming, one that could actually reason about code like a human expert. And it was about to make a whole lot of expensive, old-school security products pretty much obsolete. The result? A massive, massive sell-off.
But to truly get why this new AI is such a revolution, we first have to understand the problem it's solving. For decades, literally decades, security teams have been stuck with tools that are, well, to put it bluntly, just not very smart. The old guard is called Static Application Security Testing, or SAST for short, and you can think of it like a spell checker for your code. Sure, it's great at finding obvious mistakes, known bad patterns, but it has absolutely zero understanding of context. It can't grasp business logic. For example, it can't tell the difference between an admin who's supposed to delete a file and a regular user who definitely isn't. It just sees the code, not the real-world rules that code is meant to enforce.
And this total lack of context creates a huge, huge amount of noise. Get this. Industry data shows that security engineers waste up to 70% of their time chasing down false alarms. Can you imagine? This constant stream of bogus alerts leads to what we call alert fatigue. The engineers get so overwhelmed, they just start tuning it all out, which means they might just miss the one alert that's actually real.
So, we've got this broken system that's just creating a ton of noise and wasting everybody's time. And this is where OpenAI and Anthropic come riding in. They are pioneering a totally new approach to security, one that's based on AI-driven reasoning instead of just simple, dumb pattern matching. Think of it like this. OpenAI's Codex security is like a tireless, synthetic auditor. It works quietly in the background, after the code is written, checking every single commit before it gets deployed. Anthropic's Claude Code Security, on the other hand, is completely different. It's like having a senior security expert as your pair programmer, sitting right there with you, giving you feedback in real time as you type. So one is a gatekeeper, the other is a collaborator. So how do these two AI titans actually work under the hood? Well, their core difference, the thing that really defines their unique strengths, it all comes down to how they prove a vulnerability is real. It's a battle of proving it versus thinking it through. OpenAI's Codex uses this really cool technique called sandboxed validation. So when it finds a potential flaw, it doesn't just flag it and say, hey, look at this. No, it actually tries to hack your code in a safe, totally isolated environment. If the hack works, you get a detailed report with undeniable proof that the vulnerability is 100% real and exploitable. Now, Anthropic's Claude takes a completely different path with what's called adversarial verification. It's like having a built-in devil's advocate. Before Claude even thinks about reporting a bug to you, it argues with itself, trying to find all the reasons why the code might actually be secure. This internal debate helps filter out all the weaker, more theoretical risks before they ever waste a human's time. And these very different methods lead to very different strengths. You can see it in the benchmarks. Codex's methodical, sandbox-driven approach is an absolute champion at finding things like path traversal flaws, where it can actually trace a file's journey and prove it's exploitable.
Claude, with its massive context window, is much better at understanding the bigger picture. That makes it amazing at catching something called insecure direct object reference, or IDOR vulnerabilities. You know, that's where a user can access data they're not supposed to just by changing a number in a URL.
So what does this all mean in the real world? For Codex, it's all about signal to noise. That sandboxed validation is so effective at getting rid of false positives that during its beta, it cut down the overall alert noise by a staggering 84%. When a human gets an alert from Codex, they know it's almost certainly the real deal.
But don't count Claude out. Its strength is its sheer depth of understanding. It thinks more like a creative human hacker, which let it uncover over 500 zero-day vulnerabilities in mature open-source projects. We're talking about deep, complex bugs that were hiding in plain sight for years, missed by even the most experienced security researchers. This table really brings it all together, doesn't it? You can see the key differences in how they're deployed, how they validate, their core strengths. Oh, and check out that line on token efficiency. That's basically how much computational power each tool needs. Codex is way more efficient, which can make a huge difference in cost and speed, especially when you're working at scale.
So with these two super powerful but very different tools on the market, the obvious question is, which one's better? Well, it turns out that is completely the wrong question to ask. The smartest engineering teams out there are realizing it's not about choosing a winner. It's about creating a layered defense that uses the best of both.
So what does this hybrid approach actually look like? It's really elegant in its simplicity. A developer uses Claude as their co-pilot, right? Getting that awesome real-time feedback as they're writing the code. Then, once the code is committed, Codex just takes over automatically. It acts as the final, methodical gatekeeper to provide that empirical proof that nothing has slipped through the cracks. It's literally the best of both worlds. Now, with all this powerful automation, you might be wondering, well, what does this mean for the humans in the loop? Are we about to see security professionals get replaced by AI? The answer is no, but their jobs are about to fundamentally change, for sure.
Instead of spending all day long chasing down thousands of false alarms, security pros can finally focus on the big picture. They can design more resilient systems from the ground up, anticipate new and novel types of attacks, and use their uniquely human creativity and intuition to hunt for the kinds of complex vulnerabilities that even the smartest AI can't see, yet.
And we're already seeing this shift happen in the real world. You know, early adopters aren't talking about replacing their teams, they're talking about empowering them. Just listen to this quote from the head of product security at Netgear about their experience with Codex. It's not a tool replacing a person. It's a tool that feels like an experienced new teammate.
So what's the bottom line here? The world of cybersecurity is changing, and it is changing fast. The old way of just matching patterns, that's over. The new battleground is all about AI that can truly understand the context and the intent of your code. And as we've seen, how these tools prove a vulnerability is real is what truly defines their value. This is the future of software, and it's happening right now. And all of this leads to one final fascinating question. When the AI is both building our software and guarding it, who's ultimately in charge? Who is responsible when something goes wrong? That's the big dilemma we're all going to need to navigate as we step into this brand new era of AI-driven development. Thanks for joining.